Hey, friends. Happy Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. So good to see you today. So good to see ya. Getting right to it today. Look, I've got a full week, but I'm committed to coming to see you and sitting with you and talking about the dating fast. Some people will call it a dating detox. Some people will call it a dating fast. And the question I have for you today, could you do it? Could you do it? Could you, for a set period of time, let me define it. I am defining a dating fast as abstaining from dating for a set period of time, abstaining from going out on dates, abstaining from even looking for a date for a set period of time. And the question that I have for you today, again, is that something that you could do? Is it something you would even want to do? So I'm going to share with you exactly one of the main things that happen. There are many different ways that I can go. Um, Many different ways. I could, um, how can I say it to you? I could have gone so many different ways. I could have, um, there are many ways I can go in terms of explaining this to you. Let me slow down. I'm typing at the same time, and you know how that goes, right? So there are many ways that I can go and explain, but there's one major item that I received from this dating fast. I wasn't, I am, I divorced, was it September 1 of 2024? My divorce was final September 1, 2024. So I've spent the past year, just kind of year and a half, just really stepping back and focusing on Kisa. So I have not been involved in a relationship. I have not been trying to get a man. I've not been trying to do whatever. Now, I believe in the institution of marriage. So let me say that unashamedly. I believe in the institution of marriage. And I have literally said to the Lord, Lord, your will, because this has to be done in this day and age. Marriage, a healthy relationship, it has to be done with the Lord's help. Let me say that again. In 2026, a healthy relationship, a healthy marriage has to be done with the Lord's help. There is nothing that Kisa can do in and of herself regarding that. Nothing, right? So, with that in mind, what is one of the main things that I learned from the dating fast? All right. There is one item that I really believe that I was focused on as relates to the dating fast. But let me start off. I love to give you definitions, and good morning to those of you who have joined. Let me start off. I love to give you definitions, not just Kisa's thought process, not just what Kisa has to say about it. But let's define what a dating fast is and why some people go on a dating fast, or at least I thought that I had that pulled up. Clearly, I don't. Let me stop sharing. Sorry, y'all. I thought I had that pulled up online on Google, but I guess I don't. Dating fast. Here we go. What's a dating fast? Why do people do it? Here we go. Maybe you can see it. Let me go back to StreamYard. Let me make sure and let me share. Let me go into present again. Sorry about that. Share screen. Welcome to that. What is a dating fast? And there we go. Okay. A dating fast. So pull it, come in close, listen up close. A dating fast, what is it? It is basically an intentional period where an individual completely abstains from dating, completely abstains from seeking new romantic relationships or using dating apps. And that is exactly what I did. I completely abstained, didn't date, didn't seek any new romantic relationship, or nor was I the recipient of one. And I don't use dating apps, but I certainly didn't use dating apps then. All right. Now, this says it typically lasts anywhere from 40 days to a full year, and it's designed to help people break codependent habits, build a stronger relationship with themselves and or God. I would say both, and then heal from past breakups. Now, in that sense, I have been on a dating fast, then you could say, since my divorce, because I have not sought any relationships. I've gone out and had lunch with friends here and there. And don't get me started on that, because some of our guys have an issue with that. But that's real talk. I've gone out and had lunch with friends here or there. But as far as since I've been divorced, I have not sought to be in any romantic relationship. Now, I have not told the Lord that that's not what I want. So I'm open to what He wants. I'm open to one. I'm just saying I haven't intentionally sought one, and I ended this June 6th, which was this past Saturday. So 3 months prior to that, well, May, June. So I started it the 1st of March. I mean, like a real, like, I'm not going on any dates. I'm not, I don't care about pursuing a new relationship. I really sort of dove in head first to this March the 1st. I ended the dating fast June the 6th, which was this past Saturday. Okay. So what happened during that time? And again, I have it on the screen here, why people do it, to break the cycle. It provides a space for individuals who constantly bounce from one partner to the next in order to learn how to be content on their own. That's for some people. For other people, it could involve reassessing your standards. It allows you to reflect on what you need in a partner instead of impulsively jumping into the first available opportunity. And then thirdly, many people use it to focus entirely on personal development, career goals, or spiritual life. For those of you who are joining, welcome, good morning, thank you. Looking at and specifically defining right now the dating fast and why people do it. And the fast, again, an intentional period where an individual completely abstains from dating, seeking new romantic relationships, or either using dating apps. And all of that applied in my life. And I'll be honest with you. Let me be honest. And if I had to say the reason that I really did it, I would say it was along that third line: spiritual and personal growth, using the time to focus entirely on personal development and career goals or spiritual life without distraction, without anybody asking me for a date, anything like that. And just to step back. And here's what I found happened with me. This is what I wanted to share with you today. If you have, and for those of you who are on, good morning, good morning. Do you have any idea, or do you have any guess as to what you think? Excuse me. Sneeze. Have any idea, excuse me, what you think could have happened during that? Have any idea on what you think, any guesses as to what you think could have happened? Have any idea? So I like this little definition of it, but it's one word that you may not like and that some people may be offended by if I say this. But there's one thing very specifically that happened as a result of me doing this. And you have to take it in which the spirit in which it is meant, right? But in a nutshell, here's what happened for me. Not talking about anybody else, but in a nutshell, this is what happened for me. That's one of the things. And that is decentralization of the importance of being in a relationship. And what that means for me is, and it could almost be a combative term, it could almost be an inflammatory term. But for me, because if you're not careful, if we're honest, how many of you would admit that anytime you hear from a guy, you talk to a guy, your mind automatically goes to, okay, well, what is the possibility of this? Now, I'm always going to pray for my connections, right? Always, always, always. But maybe I'm out here by myself. Sometimes as women, I think we can feel the pressure to every person we meet. God, is this the one? God, what's going to happen with this relationship? Rather than just enjoying it, rather than just enjoying it, rather than just enjoying the friendship, rather than just enjoying the date. let me enjoy the date. Let me enjoy my hamburger. Let me enjoy my French fries. Let me enjoy my pasta. Let me enjoy my coffee and not have to worry about, not have to think about where this relationship is going. Am I out here by myself? Have you ever been there in the past? Or maybe I'm out here by myself in true confessions where you can't even deal with the guy. You can't even talk to him because your mind starts running or playing. Okay, what could this be? Okay, whatever. So for me, with the dating fast, and I see the result of this now, I've never ever done it, specifically a dating fast. Now, I have had seasons in my life where prior to getting married before, I have said, I'm not going to date. So maybe I have done it. Maybe I just didn't define it as such because I certainly have had seasons where I have said, I'm not dating. God, I want you to just connect me with the one. And if he's not the one, I have no interest in wasting my time. I'll continue to serve you, I'll continue to serve others. But if he's not the one, I have no interest. I have certainly done that before. I have certainly done it before. This particular time, though, I literally called a fast. No, no, I may have talked to some people as relates to business purposes. I may have, um, have seen you out, but I did not go on dates. I did not talk to guys on the phone and have even any interest in that or even spend long periods of time. I really focused on my personal development. And what happened with me is I want you to go back. I'm showing you this term, decentralization. And I want you to go back and it could be inflammatory because some people will say, oh, you're coming to this camp where you're acting like you don't need a man. Well, in truth be told, God says we're fearfully and wonderfully made, but he didn't say we're fearfully and wonderfully made because we have a man or because we have a woman. We're fearfully and wonderfully made because he created us. Point blank, period, as some of the young folks say. Point blank, period, right? So, what I have seen happen with myself is by decentralization of a relationship, sorry, y'all, it allows me to focus holistically on the person that I meet, on the gentleman that I meet. Okay, God, what's the purpose? If this is my friend, let me enjoy my friend to the utmost degree. If this is, if this is a spiritual connection, if this is supposed to be a spiritual lead or a spiritual, let me enjoy this. Let us fulfill to the utmost degree. Because I don't know about you, but one of the things that I hate is wasting my time. I'm 54. I'm looking ahead to 60. In 6 years, I'll be 60 years old. Do you really think that I want to continue to spin my wheels in relationships? I don't. Real talk, y'all. Real talk. So I've had to kind of remove the importance of meeting someone and get back to the focus of relationships. What's the focus of this? What's the purpose of this relationship? And let me focus on my purpose. Because while focusing on my purpose, God is going to align everything in my path. So one of the main things that I wanted to share with you, that's it in a nutshell, decentralization, just me kind of taking, and you Google it. And when I tell you to do things like that, that means I want you to read up on it. I want you to study it, and I want you to get the message, and I want you to get the thought process on your own. I want you to come up with your own definition. In other words, I don't want you to take my definition. I don't want you to just take point blank what they give you. But how can you use that principle of decentralization of relationships? And listen, I'm not saying decentralization of men. There's a whole thing about decentralizing men online, right? Sorry, y'all. Sneezing today. So I must take some allergy meds. There's a whole thing online about decentralizing men. I'm not saying that. I'm saying decentralizing this whole idea of relationships that I gotta have a man, gotta have a relationship, gotta. No, no, no. Decentralization, taking the relationship off of the top of your focus and looking at it from a more holistic standpoint. This is part of my life. I have, because guess what? We have several bubbles that go into our life. We have the relationship bubble, we have the career bubble, we have the family bubble, and most importantly, we have the God and spiritual bubble. And even outside of all that, we have the personal bubble. So we've got several different things. So for me, it brings a peace, this theory. Again, it could be controversial because some people will say, oh, decentralizing men, you're saying men aren't important. You're one of those people. I'm not of that camp. But what I am of the thought process of is a relationship is just like everything else in my life. It's a part. No one thing makes the whole. We are made up of several different parts. Now, the thing about a relationship is so important who you choose to marry. I really believe that. I really believe that. And I always say with relationships, there is no static. Your relationship is either going to move you up or either it's going to move you down. There is no static. And in terms of especially a spouse, someone that you're with every day, every day, every day, you're in and out every day, in and out. There is no plateau. Either you're going up with that person or you're going to go down. You're going to regress, right? So for me right now, I have made much ado. And you're talking about someone who I am not a hater of relationships. I love love. But I do understand that in the past, I own up to the fact that I've made some pretty rotten choices as it relates to that. And in the middle of it, even when we make a terrible choice, sometimes you have to have the maturity in the middle of it to be able to adjust. But again, this whole principle of decentralization, understanding that a relationship, understanding that a man, understanding that a woman, and this is not just for ladies, this is for gentlemen too, understanding that a relationship is a part of who you are. That's what I mean when I say decentralization. I want you to go back and read it. I want you to go back and look at it because you're going to come up with a whole bunch of different stuff online. But the beautiful thing is we can read, we can study, we can interpret, and God gives us what? A brain so we can think and we can adjust and we can add. So could it be and why decentralization? Let me close by rounding this out. Why would I show you this principle of decentralization? Why would I say it's one of the main things that came out of it, out of the fast that I went on for 3 months? No dating, no talking, no even thinking about dealing with dating. Not because I was angry, not because I was hurt, no, I just wanted to focus on and be clear about some things in my life. I'll be real clear, career wise, purpose wise. I just wanted to be real clear. And that was one of the ways that I believe that I was led to do it. But this is one of the things that came out. I'm not going to share everything with you about it. But what I want you to do is I want you to go and I want you to look at it. I want you to study it. And I want you to see what if you can get parts of the principle or if you understand it, and then you take it and work it for yourself. Because the whole principle is that God is the only being. We were created for Him. Even those who say they don't know the Lord, even those who say they don't know, they're not all into that church thing, into that spiritual stuff. By you walking in your purpose, you're still glorifying God. So bless it, even though you think, oh, I'm not into all that spiritual stuff. By you living and breathing and being a blessing to other people and walking in your gift and working and contributing to our community and to this economy, you're still walking in your gift and you're blessing the Lord. If you're doing legal stuff, you know what I mean? So I am not taking it from a negative perspective. I'm not asking you to grab a hold to the negative connotation of decentralization. But what I'm asking you to do as it relates to relationships is it quite possible that you've made a relationship, that you've made the desire to marry, have you made it an idol? And do you need to remove that idol off the throne and remember that you're a tripartite being? Tripartite being. You are a spirit, you live in a physical body, and you have a soul. Is it a tripartite being? Gotta look up the word now, y'all. Yes, you are a tripartite. Tripartite is the word. Tripartite. You're a tripartite being. Three different parts of you. And I believe, why do I think this principle of decentralization of relationships is so important? Because I think some of us have made a relationship, some of us have made getting a man, getting a woman, we've made that our idol. And don't you know the thing that you pursue, the thing that you are desperate to achieve? It is often the thing that continually escapes us. Don't you know that? If it can be like it's stamped on your head. This is the thing that I'm actively pursuing. This is the thing that I'm desperate to get. I've got to have somebody. That, because we are a spiritual being, that goes before you. So when you when you go and you say, I can live without this, it's the same principle. One of the things that I'm working to fast right now, processed sugar. You keep pursuing it, you keep pursuing it, you keep eating it, you keep eating it. How do you break it? How do you do that? How do you break the power of that over your life? That desperation, that seeming power that that item has. Fast from it. That's what the dating detox taught me. That's what the dating fast brought to me. I want to fast from it. I believe that this is me now. This is my faith talking, but I believe that God's already answered that prayer. I believe I'm just walking along the path. I believe that He's already answered the prayer for a beautiful, loving, fulfilling relationship. But again, I'm 54. So I don't have the time to go and to keep jumping in and jumping out of different things. Nah, you're God. You're God. You know the person who's a great fit for my today, my tomorrow, and my 5, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. You know the person who's the fit for that. I don't, but you do, Lord. So rather than me spend all this time trying to figure it out, I ask the Lord to sharpen my discernment and help me to go and help me to focus on some other things, decentralize relationships. There's my calling, there's my relationship with God, there's me, there's family, there are all these different things. And I just refuse to exceedingly, hey, Sandy, you're welcome. Hey, Sandy. I just refuse to just make it the priority. And you have to vote your own conscience. I'm literally giving you my experience of why I thought this was so important for me to do. I don't, I have dated. I mean, some women have said, well, I am on a dating detox, not through any choice of my own because I haven't had any dates. Well, let me ask you this. Would you consider doing a dating fast to find out what's blocking dating or suitors from coming to you? Oh, I know that's groundbreaking, but would you consider doing a dating fast to find the suitors to come to you? Excuse me, to find out why, to see what's blocking you. Would you consider that? Because sometimes we're sabotaging ourselves. It's not anybody else. Sometimes it's us. That's hard. And I love you, but I love you because I tell you the truth because of that. But sometimes we're sabotaging ourselves. Sometimes. Sometimes we're desperate. Sometimes we're mean. Sometimes we're negative. Sometimes we are insecure. Sometimes we're not prepared. Sometimes we're not whole, we're not ready. We're not whole. We're not willing to sometimes we're selfish. We're not willing to sacrifice for the benefit of a great relationship, a godly relationship, a loving relationship. Oh, we think we are. But see, you're not marrying the person and taking a covenant for their best day. You're taking a covenant and you're in a covenant for their worst day. That's when the covenant really stands up. God is committed to us on our worst day. That's why we love God. That's why many, of us love our mothers hypothetically. I mean, that's hypothetically what a mother's supposed to do, love their children unconditionally. Hypothetically, because I want to make room, because some mothers are not equipped, and some mothers are not equipped to do that. Let's just be honest. But for the most part, that's what we look at from a mother and I could even say a father too. Our parents are supposed to love us unconditionally, right? Through our worst day, and stick by us through our worst day. So that's why we say we love our parents, and that's what we like. But are you prepared to provide unconditional love to your partner? Just a thought. Dating detox, dating fat, or a dating fast. These are some of the things that you would potentially be able to see. I know it's hard to think I could be hindering myself. You could be hindering yourself from the love of your life. You could be. And then once you see it, what are you going to do about it? Are you going to say, well, that's just me? But decentralization. And one of the things that I found is it took the pressure off. Now, tomorrow, I have to tell you. So, and this is going to, closing out today, this principle of decentralization. One of the things that I have learned about myself is that I go mega long on these lives, right? And I don't know that I need to do that every day. I'll go mega long. I enjoy talking to you all, but I'm going to cut that down a little bit and give it to you in small digestible pieces. So this principle of decentralization, if you need to talk to me, if you need to know how to do that, here's my website. You can set up a 15-minute complimentary call and figure out what I do. If you know that you want some assistance with your dating, then guess what? You don't need anything with careers. I'm sorry, I couldn't see that. That's why you put your glasses on. So you won't just randomly throw up things on the screen, Kisa. That's why you do that. But anyway, let me do this again. Let me show you my website. You can go to my website and set up a free coaching call, because guess what? So many people are asking, why is dating so hard? Dating doesn't have to be hard. You just have to be strategic. It may involve you having a fast, so you can understand that dating needs to be decentralized in your life. Having a man, having a woman may need to be decentralized in your life, right? We may not need to make it everything, our all in all. You get it? So what does a dating fast look like outside of just not going on one? When you say not going on one, you mean not going on a date? Just not going on one. So, that's a great question, Sandy. For me, I would just say, oh, I see what you're saying. What does it look like outside of just not going on a date? I got you. I got you. I had to think about that. Yeah, a date. So that's a great question. I would just say more intentional. For me, there were gentlemen that approached me. What are some other elements of it? There were gentlemen who approached me and who asked me for a date, because no doubt, once you go on a date, it is possible that's going to open up the door to say, hey, let's go do so and so. You may be tempted to do some things. You see a guy and you feel like, man, I got to take this chance. I mean, I've had it happen a couple of times. I met 2 or 3 guys during my fast, and I had to say to a gentleman a couple of times, we can't go out right now. One of my friends We can't go out right now. I really want to take you out, but I'm on a dating fast. I really want to go out. I'm not take you out. I really wanted to go out, but we can't do it right now. I'm on a dating fast. I had another gentleman who said, hey, let's go out. Long time friend, right? Long time friend, church members and everything. We saw each other out at an event. He said, hey, what are you doing? Would love to grab coffee. Let's come back here and grab coffee at this shop. I said, can't do that. I can't do it until after June 6th. He said, okay, no problem. So mainly, I think, Sandy, it is not going on a date, not being on dating apps. And let me go back to this principle that I shared, because I think it's a good principle to think about while on a dating fast. It's a great principle to think about. Decentralization. So that's not going to be the focus right now. I'm not going on dates. I'm not talking to a guy to get to know you and all of that kind of stuff. Because what if you meet somebody and and you're interested, or they want to just know what's going on? Now that's where the challenge can come in, because I didn't do any of that. I didn't entertain any long conversation. I may have talked to guys out, but I didn't do any of that. Now you have to judge and kind of ebb and flow for what you want. You may say, okay, I may talk to a guy, but I'm not going to go on a date with a guy. I may have a conversation with him to let him know, but I'm not going to go out with him. You can kind of define the parameters, what works for you. For me, because I had been dating before that, I had gone out on dates with some friends and different things like that. For me, it was a matter of just saying, I'm not going out with anybody. I'm not doing any of that. I'm not going to be on any dating sites. I don't do dating sites anyway. So that's mainly it, to answer your question, not going on a date and not really having those conversations of, what are you interested in? Are you interested in? Because, we can date somebody without going anywhere. We can get involved without going anywhere. So it's that whole principle of saying, I'm not doing that right now. This may be unusual, but right now I'm really focused on some things. I would love to have a conversation with you at this time. And I know it's strange. This is what I would tell a guy. And I told one of my friends, and actually I told two of them, and they said, okay, no problem. So if he's really interested, I don't think there's anything you can do to deter him. A lot of times we operate out of fear, but I just don't believe we can deter them like that. So being intentional is a good place to start. Absolutely. Thank you for breaking down what I just said. Absolutely. Being intentional. Just say, hey, I'm gonna take a couple of, I didn't want to say I took 6 months or a year. That's a long time for me. Like, I have not been in a relationship, and I'm okay with that. I think I unintentionally did that. I unintentionally just made a decision. Okay, I don't want a relationship after divorce. Let me just kind of detox that whole relationship thing. Let me get away from that. That's how I was with a relationship. Let me just get away from that. I don't want to try to go out with anybody. I had friends. I would interact with different guys, but relationship was not the priority. I needed to divest of that relationship. I needed to get clear of that and just move away from that, certainly. And I felt like I couldn't do that in under a year. That was me. So I kind of unintentionally went on one where I would go out on dates, but I never considered that we're going to be married or you're going to be my man. Not Kisa. Different things for different folks, different strategies for different people. But again, from March to June of this year, June 6th, March 1st, June 6th, I just made a decision. Not dating. Don't want to have a conversation about a date. I had several men approach me. One guy, can I have your number? I even told him, no, you can't have my number. I'm on a dating fast right now. No, I'm not going to even talk about you having my number. No, not interested. So I guess you could say too, I didn't entertain any new possibilities. That's another part of the dating fast. I did not entertain any new possibilities. The gentleman who asked for my number, he asked for it again a week ago. You're still not going to give me your number? Well, no, not interested. Well, part of it is you're clearly dealing with another woman. I clearly see you're dealing with another woman. Oh, we're not in a relationship. No, sir. No, sir. This is the kind of stuff, and one of the things that I believe that the dating fast has broken with me is that ability and that desire to want to say yes all the time and to be nice all the time. I clearly told this gentleman, no. Can I have your number? No. I see you dealing with somebody in a relationship. We're not going to do that. That tendency to be nice. Oh, I'm gonna give him my number. We're just having a conversation. I could entertain him. I have no desire for that. So what it tells me is that was broken. I've had other gentlemen approach me. Can I have your number? No. Why? Because we decentralized the importance of a relationship. So, friends, Sandy, I hope that answered your question. I'm about 7, 8 minutes over. We're going to wrap it up. I'm back tomorrow morning. I'll be back on at 9 o'clock. I kind of like this 9 o'clock time frame. It's a little later. Maybe more people are at work and doing some things, but it gives me a chance to kind of move and ebb and flow. And we will go. What'd you say? No, sir. Kim, hey, Kim. Kim, he asked me, and I can clearly see you pulling up with this woman and she's dropping you off, but you're clearly going to ask me for my number? Oh, we're not in a relationship. Oh, I mean, there's nothing going on with that. No, sir. No. That is clown behavior to me. That is absolutely clown behavior. You did. I have to go listen from the beginning. Yeah. Yeah, listen to it from the beginning, Sandy. I talked a little bit about what a dating fast is, and we kind of went back over that. But yeah, that's just it. I think this whole principle of decentralization and not making it as important. And like I said, another element of it too, you could fast for different reasons. Another element is I'm real big on if everything seems to be going right, but it's not. If I have all this stuff together, what's not right for me? What are the mistakes I'm making that I can see? Kim is so bold and disrespectful, but that's the era that we're in now. Miss Kisa in the past may have been like, oh, but again, I'm 54, so the 54-year-old Kisa's like, no, no, sir, I don't want any part of that. He's a great guy. We laugh and all that kind of stuff, but no, we're not. You can't, because you're going to do that right in front of my face. Ladies, that's how things turn tragic on a dime. We involve ourselves in things we know he's dealing with somebody else. We know what we see, but we're going to ignore it. Well, he said it's nothing going on. Okay. Okay. He said they don't have a relation. Okay. But she's over here every day or every other day. Maybe not every day, maybe every other day. You're connected to her. I've even seen y'all out together. Sir, no. Sir, bye. That's what I'm going to say to you, sir. Sir, bye. So, decentralization. That was one of the items that I learned from my dating fast. And again, you can determine, I don't know that I even had a clear goal, but what I did learn was I just need to step away from even dealing with guys for a little while. And another thing that I'd noticed right before that I had cut off a couple of my guy friends. One, he wanted to go out on dates with me ever so often. Felt like, why do you want to continue to go out on these dates? I mean, I have time to do everything else. I don't need you to go buy me a burger and we just take up time together. This Kisa, not everybody. Some people may say, hey, I'd love to go out on a date and do that. It's Kisa. I'm big on not wasting my time. I had another gentleman who was very inconsistent. He'd want to go out on a date every 2 weeks. We've been friends for years, even prior to my marriage, years and years. And so he comes in and he surfaces about every 2 weeks. Let's say would, because I told him, I appreciate, and he called me one night. He texted me one night of Friday, 7 o'clock. Hey, what you doing? Friday, 7 o'clock. Hey, WYD, what you doing? What you doing? I said, what's going on? Hey, I'm hungry. I said, I'm sorry. I said, it's Friday. I said, I'm resting. I'm getting ready to watch me a movie. Friday at 7 o'clock. You assume I have nothing to do. This was prior to the fast. You assume I have nothing to do. You assume that that you can text me and I can just drop everything I have to go meet you. No, sir. But this gentleman is what I believe is I believe he's a serial dater. I believe he's a serial dater. In other words, he just likes dating. He's got the house, he's got all the look of success, but nothing about him wants to settle down with one woman. So I didn't recognize it at first, but I was just in that rotation because I could have just said, "Oh, I like to go out every now and then, or whatever, no big deal." But it's like we got to talking one day. We had lunch or brunch, and we were talking, and I said, "Oh, love to garden." He's like, "Yeah, you can come by the house and we can do so and so." Well, first of all, that probably wasn't the best thing anyway for me to be going to his house, even though, like I said, we've known each other for years. He was like, "Hey, I got this garden. We can work on a couple of projects." That sounded good. But sometimes, like I said, when you are not thinking, I thank God for stepping in and helping us to think, right? So after we left out that day, had gone to just had eaten, which ran an errand to the grocery store, walked across the street to that. So he did all that talk, but either he forgot or had something else come up. It was the same thing. He went ghost for 2 weeks. And then he surfaced with that Friday, 7 p.m. WYD. What you doing? Okay, we just had a conversation 2 weeks ago about us looking and going out and gardening and everything like that and doing. And so you never followed up. You never said anything. You just but then you all of a sudden surface again. And another thing he had done was we'd be out on dates and he'd be talking to different women, insecure as the Dickens. So I have other male friends. So how would you feel if I came on a date? I'm on the phone with one of my guy friends and he hangs up, "Oh yeah, that's my friend such and such. She's from so and so. Here's her picture." Here, so what's that about? We clearly are friends. So for you to try to do all this stuff to show me your female friends, no, sir. Goodbye. Now, has he appeared subsequently? Yes, he has. Tried to call or even popped up at some things asking if I want to go on a no. No love lost, but I can't play those games. We're too old for that. We're in our 50s. We're too old. I'm not going to be in rotation, sir. I don't play that. Have y'all seen my video? Check it out on my page in which I say, I'm not going to play side chick, even if you're single. I'm not going to be in your rotation. Well, let me rephrase that. I'm not going to stay in the rotation. If we're just going to be friends, brother and sister friends, fine. But I'm not going to stay in a dating rotation with you. Just you call me. I'm the chick you call every first Saturday. You've got a date for second Saturday, third Saturday. And the thing and guys are not going to like me saying this, but the things, that's right, Kim, that's a no. But the thing that guys will do, guys will keep you in rotation and let you know that they're dating other people. But they have an issue when, as a woman, you say, I'm dating other people. I didn't say sleeping with them. I didn't say being intimate with them. I'm saying going out on a coffee date with you. I go out to eat at Applebee's with you, O'Charlie's with you, Ruth Chris with you. I go out to get on a coffee date with this gentleman. If you see me out with a gentleman, you've got a problem with that. Come on, y'all. So I can't have those conversations with guys. I just can't. But and I'm not going to. I'm not going to explain it. Kisa's just going to do what Kisa needs to do, and I would advise you to do the same. Because the standards just aren't the same. I'm not going to argue with it. I'm not going to fight to have my point told. We're just going to leave that alone. Where I'm not going to tell you. But if you see me out or whatever, yes. And because how can you expect exclusive benefits and you haven't made me exclusive? How can you expect that? How can you expect me to not deal with anyone else and we're not exclusive? How does that work? You hear me, Kim? You hear me, don't you, Kim? How does that work? I can't go have coffee with someone else and I'm not your exclusive one, but I've got to sit home and wait like a puppy dog until you release me and open the door again to go out. No. No. When I know that you're out and you're doing some other things, and I'm not clocking you for that. I'm not checking for you with that. You're grown. I'm grown. When it's time to become official, you'll do what needs to be done. I will do what needs to be done. We're mature. We're grown folks. Okay, Kim, that part. We're grown folks. I'm not checking for you. You're not. If you want this to be exclusive, tell me. If he wants it to be exclusive with you all, ladies, let him tell you. This is no knock against my guys. I understand some ladies play some crazy games as well. You understand? But we're this grown age. I'm just not going to be in the rotation. I'm not going to explain to you why I feel that I can go out and have the freedom to do certain things. I didn't say be intimate with a guy. I didn't say, but you mean to tell me a coffee date disturbs your spirit? Well, I try to be cautious about saying red flags, but that's something for me to at least watch. A coffee date? I'm also a business owner. I'm also a social person. So sometimes there may be things which require that I go out with gentlemen I may work on a project with someone. I may be the talent, and I may go out with someone who's the videographer or who's the photographer. I'm not talking about regularly doing this. I'm saying that sometimes it may call for that as part of my profession and what I do as an entrepreneur. So are we going to have a problem with that? Those are some of the things that we need to be watching for. It's controlled, isn't it, Sandy? So you're beyond being controlled. Let's talk about it and come to a mutual agreement. Let's come to talk about this is grown folks' business, though. This is grown folks' business. And I'm not even having the conversation, Sandy, Kim, and there's some others of you who are on here as well. We're not having the conversation. Clear, consistent communication. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Sandy. Thank you. So I'm not having a conversation with you. I'm not even going to talk about. When I say that, I mean if it's not exclusive. I may even, if I'm really interested in someone, I may say, so what's your stance? If we're not exclusive, do you have an issue, with me going out with other people? Or are you going out? Are you seeing anybody else? Or are you good with that? We'll have the conversation and I will say it tactfully. But if you say, no, I don't believe in you going out with another guy, with me being here and blah, 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 I may need to think about whether I go forward. Because I just met you. If this is my first or second conversation, we just met. We just met. I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to try to make it. I'm not going to, back in the day, I may have tried to persuade or blah, blah. No. I'm not going to. I'm not going to argue. Not going to do that. No one person gets to decide what goes on for me but me. Thank you, Sandy. I remember while I'm in marriage, I remember sharing this with my spouse and saying to him, he was concerned about me doing something. I think I was on the phone talking to a guy. Now, I'm a social person. I'm a professional woman. It is impossible that I not talk to a male at some point. It's impossible that he not talk to a female at some point. I mean, are we kidding? And I remember having to say to him, I'm an honorable woman. So if I didn't cheat or didn't disrespect myself or anybody else before marriage, why would I wait till I get married to do it? Why would I wait to do this to you? I have enough respect for myself. So sometimes we have to be, bless it. We have to be logical, ladies and gentlemen, we have to be logical. I'm going to wait. I didn't practice adultery. I didn't practice sin. I didn't practice cheating before I married you. But all of a sudden now I'm going to practice it because I'm with you, because I'm having a conversation with a professional colleague, right? Now there are boundaries and parameters. Maybe I don't talk to my best guy friend, every day on the phone being married. I mean, that's a deal. That's a disrespect. And he doesn't need to talk to his best girlfriend on the phone every day. That's okay. That can be considered a disrespect. You understand? That's where confidence comes in. Absolutely. Because what's happened is they start showing their insecurity. I'm insecure. I don't want you talking to anybody or anybody else. It's part of business. That's and Kim, I know with the profession that you're in, you interact with men and women all the time. So for someone to put those parameters, oh, you're doing so and so. Am I? Really? I'm choosing you. I've been single this whole time, and I'm gonna just and I'm gonna just play crazy and go crazy just now, just because I met you. No, sir. No, ma'am. No, sir. No, ma'am. I don't receive that. We're not going to have that. We're not going to do that. Let's have a conversation and let's talk about the comfort levels. Let's talk about where we can find common ground. And if we can't, no love lost. No love lost. It is ridiculous for me to think that my husband, that I marry again, the God sent husband, praise the Lord, the covenant partner, the one. It's ridiculous for me to think that this gentleman would not interact with women or not be in a position to interact with women. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous for my husband to think that I won't be interacting with other gentlemen. It's ridiculous. And if we don't have trust, then what do we have anyway? If we don't have trust, what do we have anyway? So decentralization, that was one of the things I think that not think, it was one of the items that came out of my fast. Tomorrow I'll be back on here at 9 o'clock. I kind of like the 9 o'clock time frame. I don't know if as many people kind of jump on at this time because I know it's a little bit later, but it gives me I'm seeing some things that I can do to really sort of work with my life at this point, and if that makes sense. And that's all part, and I think that came out of the fast too. What can I do to work with my life? What makes it a little bit easier? I can still give the information, people can catch the replay, but what can I do to make this a little bit easier? And jumping up at 7:30 looking cuckoo crazy and being on camera whether I feel like it or not, all of that is part of the and I'm going to show up whether I feel like it or not. I don't mean that, but can I do some things that make this a little bit more enjoyable or that work with me at this particular time, especially for this? Again, it can be a degree of flexibility. So just letting you know some of the things that came up. But the main thing today that I wanted to stress is decentralization. I want you to go back and I want you to look at it. What it works for you, take it. What doesn't work, leave it alone. Okay? So I am not saying that and going against God's word, not one bit. Again, you have to take it and adjust it for yourself. But what I am saying is, I'm saying that we need to understand relationships are a part of our life, just like everything else is, right? And to bring it into holistic and a balanced view. Hey, I love y'all. I'll be back on here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock. The peace that I have with being on at this time is amazing. I may change it a little bit later, but all this month we're just going to deal with dating. We're going to deal with relationships. Okay, back again until I get the release on that. So let's see what you're saying to me here. Have a great day, Sandy. Have a great day, y'all who tuned in. All right. And for those who are catching the replay, I'll see you later. Much love. Back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, talking about the dating fast and what I saw. I'm going to give you some other things that I saw and kind of wrap it up in a nice, neat little package. Okay. See you later. Have a great day. Have a great Tuesday and enjoy